It's your boy DJ Akademiks, and now we're back here again. We're talking about cultural appropriation. Now, we've been hearing this term being thrown around by a lot of people, cultural appropriation. What is cultural appropriation? Now, let me define it for you. Cultural appropriation is simply taking an element from one culture, whether it be style, language, tradition, or music that's unique to that culture, then appropriating it to another culture. That's it. Now, the term in itself is not a bad thing. It's kind of like the reverse of cultural assimilation, where the minority culture pretty much starts taking from the dominant culture, and in that process, they lose their own traditions that made them unique. They basically become a part of the dominant culture. Now, you're probably wondering, so why people keep bringing up cultural appropriation if this might even be a good thing? You have the dominant culture who's kind of then trying to be a little bit more like minority culture. Why is this such a bad thing? Now, for example, like say black people, right? Rather than being forced to assimilate to the dominant culture or white culture, like people like to call it, wouldn't it be cool if they started embracing elements of our culture? That'd be completely fucking dope. So the term cultural appropriation in its basic form, it's not really a bad thing depending on how you see it and how it's being used. Now, there's a big connotation that revolves around cultural appropriation when it comes to hip-hop. You're probably asking why, right? Now, simple. Now, in a capitalistic society that we live in, like the U.S., it's all about the motherfucking money, right? We all know that. That's a fucking Troy Average song. Now, there's a fear. Because in the past, there's many examples that I could point out, but I won't even get into it, where this has happened. There's a fear that the dominant culture will steal elements from, say, a minority culture like black culture, Hispanic culture, and they'll only steal it for profit and basically push out those who are black and Hispanic in those particular areas. So when you realize this, right? So think about it like this, right? People like to twerk their ass, right? People like hearing about music where people are smoking on coon packs. Imagine if the dominant culture just say, you know what? We like that twerking shit. We like smoking on them packs. Yeah, we're just going to snatch this up just for the financial benefits, right? Now, this is fucked up because say in the music industry, right, where a record label, they have a certain amount of dollars for marketing budget for a particular artist or even for their whole staff in general. Right? Say fucking Interscope Records. They say they're only going to spend, say, this is a random number, $200 million marketing all their fucking artists for a year. Now, say they see that it's more profitable to promote a white girl twerking and appropriating things usually accustomed with black culture, right? So they say, you know, we're going to spend more money on this white girl twerking and she's going to be doing this. She's also going to be sounding like a black girl, pretty much sounding exactly what hip hop is, except she's just white. We'll just do that. Now, in essence, it leaves less money for artists that might be black, who are coming up, who are being appropriated. And basically, because they're not the particular skin color that is marketable, they might just get the short end of the stick. So that's the fear. That's all. That's the fear. Now, as I said, we do got to think about the business aspect of this because a company would love to invest in a fucking white girl or a white guy appropriating any culture that's a minority culture. The reason being is that they love something that's one size that fits all. They love something that, hey, we could sell to the majority of people because white people, if you didn't know this, white people are the majority. So they want to get a white person to sell it to everybody, and that could be a majority. You get to appeal to the majority of the consumers. Now, for hip hop music, you probably didn't know this because you guys probably thinking, oh, I'm fucking buying Meek Mill's CD. Meek Mill's about to go fucking platinum. Oh, the Migos, I can't wait till they drop a CD. I'm gonna buy that shit because I know they've been having me cooking like a fucking professor. Let me tell you this. This is facts. They say that over 75% of hip-hop music consumers are white males. So when these companies are trying to sell hip-hop music, who do you think they will try to appeal to and also try to get to spend more money? White males. So when cultural appropriation comes up, yes, it's going to be a little bit appropriated because companies want to make money. They don't give a fuck about the culture. They care about the dollars. Then people who are smart enough, they'll be like, well, I could appropriate this culture and know that I fit the skin color. I'll get pushed. Now listen, as I said, the business dictates putting out someone that looks like the consumer in the game because you can make more money. That's just what it is. Now, we actually have a story here about cultural appropriation where it's a little bit different. It's not like the normal Iggy shit. Now, that's cultural appropriation too, because Iggy she's not of this culture, right? I mean, you could say she's in it now, but she's kind of denounced hip-hop culture, kind of, right? So it's appropriation. Now, as far as cultural appropriation and stealing the culture, that's a very, you have to draw a connect to that. And that's where you got to get these companies. But anyway, hopefully some of you guys got it. It probably went straight over y'all motherfucking heads. It's fine. But anyway, we have a guy named OG Maco, or Maco, I think is OG Maco. And pretty much he's accusing some Koreans of culturally appropriating hip-hop culture and straight up swagger jacking his shit. Now, he took to Twitter, and if you guys don't know, he has a song called Bitch You Guessed It. Now, there's a Korean version of this, right? By some guy named Keith Ape, and it's called It Jima or something like that. Now, it sounds exactly like it. They shot the video in a hotel. It sounds very similar. Go look up either song. There's going to be a link in the description. You could hear both songs. You're going to be like, what the fuck? This is really a Korean version. Now, we've heard about this Korean Chief Keef, and I ain't going to lie, he's spitting flames. But these guys, they're pretty much a Korean OG Maco. The same song sounded exactly alike, just in Korean. Now, this is what OG Maco said on Twitter. He said, I'm aware of the Koreans that mocked me and took my sauce. I'm not impressed. I'm not inspired. I think it's kind of lame. To each his own. Then he said, listen, I didn't have grills or extra jackets and lean cups and shit in the You Guessed It video. So why did they? Black stereotypes, lame as fuck. Now he said, or a fan said, yo, listen, It Jima is dope, man. Get your shit straight. Now he said, nah, y'all just hype beast and shit. You can't even understand into relevance. Now, pretty much, this is what he's saying. They took my song, they pretty much made it over in Korean, right? Same beat, same type of flow, shot the same video, except they added on more black stereotypes to it just to kind of appropriate more black culture to make it seem or play off on that stereotype. Now, if you check out the video, I actually like it. However, I completely understand what OG Mako is saying, or Mako, whatever. I completely understand what he's saying. Now, he continued, he said, yo, listen, y'all gotta stop saying this stupid shit for real. I'm not the one that first tweeted It Jima and got the blogs to pick it up, dumb fucks. Now, basically, the guy hasn't responded, and when we think about cultural appropriation, this is one thing where I do see it's a little bit different. Now, this is cultural appropriation. We got to stop acting like shit isn't cultural appropriation. When you take elements of African American or hip-hop culture and you use it outside that culture, you're culturally appropriating it. That's it. Stop with it. Stop with it. It doesn't mean that you have malintent. It doesn't mean that you're trying to steal shit. If you used fucking hip-hop culture, if you're playing off those stereotypes, you use those stereotypes of how black people dress outside of black culture, you're appropriating culture. That's it. You're culturally appropriating. But here's the thing. Now, I'm Jamaican, and listen, reggae dancehall, it's a native music of my land, Jamaica. And Koreans, Japanese, Chinese individuals, they love reggae and dancehall culture. Now, do they appropriate it? Of course. However, are they doing it to try to steal it? No. What they do is they kind of mimic it. It's what you call cultural adornment, where they basically copy your culture and just bring it over to them or to theirs, and they kind of translate in a different language. And they basically try to be you, except they look like them. Now, do I think they need to give credit to, like, say, for example, give credit to the dancehall artists? Of course. Should these Koreans that are taken from OG Mako, his style, his sauce, should they give him credit? Yes. However, what I'm saying is they are culturally appropriating his shit, but I don't think it's doing it in a way where they're trying to steal it. That's a completely different market. And as long as those people are open to do and work and to do business and also work with OG Maco, I'm like, all right, I think it's okay. You're not trying to steal some shit. You're really establishing a completely different market. Because these guys who are appropriating the culture in Korea or whatever this was, in North Korea or South Korea, whatever fuck it is, you're basically establishing a completely different market for people who would appreciate music like OG Maco's. Now, of course, he didn't like it. I get it. If somebody sounded exactly like you, except they're rapping a different language, you probably wouldn't like it too. But it's kind of like a remix, and I think it's bordering on a very thin line. But I have to side with like, yo, I think he should make moves to go international, benefit off it monetarily, rather than say, yo, stop copying my shit. They're no threat to you in the U.S. They're not gonna come over here with a fucking bitch who gets it in fucking Korean. However, you could probably perform your song now over there because they like that style and flow. So I agree with OG Maco. It is cultural appropriation. However, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. If you guys look around the world, a lot of people copy things in the U.S. They just try to get their own version of it. In fucking London, people keep telling me, yo, in the UK, they have a bunch of people that are acting like they're in Chirac. Are they appropriating the culture that's within Chirac? Obviously, of course. Now, are they doing it because they want to steal it? No, that's because they're really adoring it. And because of that, they're really trying to build their own version of it. To keep it real, if you're smart, you try to capitalize in both situations. So what do you guys think, man? Get in the comment box weighing on this. Do you give a fuck, or do you think OG Maco just need to shut the fuck up and get back in the studio? Right? Nigga, you guessed it. Yes, these niggas are taking your shit. Well, not really taking your shit, but they're definitely appropriating culture and definitely copying your shit. Get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like. Definitely subscribe to your boy DJ Akademiks, man. I'm out.